All right, thanks for listening to another episode of Full Buddy Cast presents Brew hosted by the owner of Cole Street Brewery, Sean McDonald, as well as myself, Travis Kenny from Full Buddy Cast. This podcast is just two guys catching up from high school. One of them, though, happens to be an owner of a brewery. Sean McDonald answers all of the brew questions that I ask him. He gives rants about the brew world, and it's pretty interesting, at least for me. Sometimes I just sit there and I just go, ooh, tell me something else. Tell me something else. And I kind of forget that ha-ha part. So hopefully I dialed in the ha-ha this time. Anyways, he's got a lot of cool things coming up here in August. I'll let him get into that at the beginning of the show. Actually, this intro is going to be very quick because we kind of talk about what this episode's going to be like at the very beginning of this episode. Anyways, so thanks so much for listening. Take care. Check out Cole Street Brewery. Have a great day.
Making your way in the world today, you really need a pod. Why don't you put your headphones in and give this one a shot? Wouldn't you like to just listen away and go to a place where everybody knows who you are? Listen to two guys brew ha-ha, Cole Street Brewery and Full Buddy Cast, two of the greatest names. Why don't you go and listen to this episode?
All right, so that's a lot better. Look at that. That's tracking.
Yeah, you can see big marks.
I'm so glad we didn't go 45 minutes. Guys, I've done that before. All right, well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Brew Ha-Ha. It's our 5th episode. It's our 8th take on this one because I don't have good recording equipment. This is fresh.
That's fine. We're getting deeper in the bottle of beer. So.
We are. So we're getting going. And if you don't know this already, Sean McDonald, Brew Ha-Ha, owner of Cole Street. In this episode, we're going to obviously do the beer of the week. Then we're going to do a beer rant, a typical beer rant. And then no Survivor story this episode, but we've got...
I got a little flop story.
Okay. Oh, I like how you put a story on there. Yep. It's a... We should be having the double IPA.
Yep.
And we've also got... we've got the beer knowledge as well. We've got beer knowledge coming up.
Yep. We've
got a live studio audience. And...
Yay! Finally have fans.
And I'm telling you, you should have been here for the first take or the second take.
It was way better.
It was a lot better. Because I'm just happy.
We got them all psyched up.
They were pumped. We did a t-shirt cannon. We were shooting into the crowd. We were doing some raffles, some giveaways. We had free beer just flowing.
There's always free beer tomorrow.
There's free beer always tomorrow.
On the wave.
We've got the wave going
already.
We had I don't know if you guys we had a mascot challenge, we had a hoop dunk contest. It was crazy. Home run derby, absolutely nuts. Didn't record any of it, unfortunately. I'll get better equipment next time. But it's good to be back with you, Sean. Now,
great to be here.
I started driving the bus, so it's probably a good thing.
So I just wanted to throw out real quick.
Yeah, before I drive the bus, I'm just saying.
I've had a super busy week. I've lined up a whole bunch of good stuff happening at the brewery, and I just want to get it out there.
Get that ads. Let's just
go. Promotions out there. So
tell us what's coming up.
So you may be
wait. What's on tap?
On tap at the brewery?
No, wasn't that a baseball thing? That was the Mariners. What's on tap, or what's up? What are the keys to the game?
Oh,
so what's on tap? What's coming up?
All right, so we're starting a deal with the Rainier next door with our we're doing fish and chips, 2-piece fish and chips, and you get a beer. So I lined that up for August.
Is that like every day?
No, okay. On Wednesday nights.
Okay, all right, you're okay.
So Wednesday nights we're doing the 2-piece fish and chips. Thursday nights we do that burger deal with the mint. That's still going on. And then I also lined up on Saturdays and Sundays from noon to 5 p.m. You can get any of the burgers from Jackson's. Jackson's has some really unique burgers. They have their bison burger and they have their elk burger. Goes great with the IPA too. So
so I'm not going to interrupt what you got your flow going, but I'm going to say this. I was in there yesterday picking up a growler. I didn't take myself in. Okay, I didn't get the VIP treatment. They actually served it to me and then ushered me out the door. It was usually VIP treatment. They usually
carry me out. But this time they did. They said, "Get out of here! You don't get the VIP." No, just kidding. It was Sean. Sean was super sweet. But I saw on the there's a chalkboard that said pairing.
Oh,
there was a pairing challenge going on.
So that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Is, we have pop-up things. So a restaurant says, "Hey, we're kind of slow tonight. Let's get together and do something." So on Sunday, the Mint they were doing a Cuban sandwich, and they said, "Hey, do you have a beer that would go with that?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I got a beer that can go with that."
Right.
So we did a little pop-up challenge. So you came over and ordered one of their sandwiches, and they cut it in half. So there's two sides of it, and then I gave you two beers. And you have one beer with one side and one beer with the other, and then we got a vote on it to see which would go best. So the Cuban sandwich, has that smoked Mojo pork, and then some ham on it, and then it's got a pickle, house-made pickle, and then that yellow mustard.
Ooh,
so the pickle and that yellow mustard, that strong flavor, that smoke to it. Oh
yeah.
And then it was put on a honey bun roll.
You know what?
Man, it was amazing.
That's what we call Craig Bentley, his nickname. Honey bun. Yeah. And sweet mustard too. The honey bun sweet mustard. He may be in the crowd or not. I'm not sure. Carrie might have a name for him too. Well, we might get on that the next episode.
Yeah.
Well, sweet. So that's cool. I like these little pop-up competitions. Yeah,
so always watch our Facebook because we're throwing it out there like, hey, this is what's happening today.
Go like the page right now. Pause the episode.
Yep.
Jump on Facebook. Go push the like on Cole Street Brewery, and you can see what's coming up.
Yeah, for sure. Because the governor's still saying we got some shutdown stuff and all that, but we're rolling forward. We're putting our activities back together. I got the comedy lined up for August. So the first Wednesday of August, which is August 5th, we have 3 comedians coming out. And then skip a week, the third Wednesday, the 19th, we have 4 comedians coming out. And then I have a couple of live bands that are going to show up. I'm not going to say who they are yet because they haven't confirmed. But the plan is at the brewery, we're going to roll out like a big flatbed trailer, big wide trailer.
There you go.
Throw the band on the trailer, so the mountains in the background, and then we're going to have it outdoor. That's how we're getting around the whole government thing or governor thing, so we can spread people out outside.
Yes.
Hopefully, we're going to have some great weather in August.
Absolutely.
And lots of good beer.
I like that. We need some normalcy, outdoor normalcy going on.
Right? Yeah. I mean, we've been missing that at the brewery because
everyone catches at least one live concert, whether you're going to a fair or whether you're going to just
that's the thing.
You're catching something. Right, so here's here you can go get that. Even if you're there for like 20, 25 minutes, grab a beer and just listen to that live music and just feel like you actually had a summer this summer.
And it's free entry. I mean, we don't charge. There's no cover charge or anything.
Sweet.
We just ask you to buy at least a couple beers.
Have a beer. Have a 2.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, you got it busy. I'm going to try and make it. I just realized it was my dad's birthday that Wednesday, that first week. I won't be able to make that one. I'm bombing on that one.
It'll be funny.
We're out of town. I would love to, but I will be there for the August 19th one. Perfect. I will be in the crowd watching that.
Krista K, she's a brand new Enumclaw-ite. She just moved up here from Las Vegas, so she's got a lot of Las Vegas friends.
Sweet. Brand
new. She's a fun girl, so I'm excited to meet her friends. Yeah.
Sweet. That's excellent.
I'm
excited now, too.
So beer of the week.
I'm going to pour it again. Craig got to witness the pour. He can talk about it coming up here on one of these episodes. But I did the authentic pour that you're supposed to do that you taught me.
It was a beautiful pour. You're getting better.
Where you put it right on your peck. Okay. You stabilize it.
Yep.
You bring it down. You tilt. Okay. And for some people, you'd think, oh, he's a wimp. No, that's just how I pour. It's a perfect pour. Get a little bit of
hands right in the middle. Splashes.
It
makes
gets
a nice
splash.
Head.
Gets a little. Yeah.
Look at that head. That's perfect.
That's what we're doing. Let's clank it. What's the beer of the week?
So this would be our Pub Light, not to be confused with the other big beer crap beer.
Big beer crap beer. Elaborate real quick.
So it would not. So this is Pub Light.
PUB. Okay. Not like light. Something that we don't like.
So this is a better version. This has more flavor to it than your piss water main beers.
Ask me how many beers there are that I would think of out there. How many beers? I'm just random trivia.
We're gonna go into our beer. I was gonna talk about our beer knowledge and how many types of beer there are.
Okay. Well, before that, sorry about that. I'm skipping ahead.
Yeah.
We kind of got a little out of order. It's recording, though, which is nice. So we're going to take a sip of this thing, and I'm going to enjoy it.
So it's real light, fizzy. It's got a little sweet corn type flavor to it.
That is tasty. That is now. It does. It doesn't taste quite like. I mean, it has the like the what you would say the generic.
It's super light.
It's got a little bit of a nice little taste to it. It's a little smooth. It doesn't feel like it's canned or like kind of got that weird taste to it too.
Yeah, doesn't have that metallic sort of flavor to it. It's got the nice clean,
smooth.
It's easy. It's also a really light beer, so it goes with anything.
It's a good summer beer.
Yeah, great for lawn mowing. This is good for a brand new beer drinker, somebody that's like, I don't really like beer because they've had piss beer.
Right. Or maybe they are just easing into it and they think that IPA is just a little bit too hoppy for them or whatever.
Right, exactly. This is much easier to drink.
A little smooth. What's the ABV on this?
It's 5.5. So it's like middle of the road.
Middle of the road, so like a Coors Light or Bud Light. How much?
4.8.
4.8. So you're getting a little more ABV going as well.
Got more ingredients in it. That's why it's got the more flavor to it.
So what are your ingredients that are kind of heightening this thing up a little bit to where it's got a little more flavor?
So the Budweisers and the Coors Light of the world, they tend to use a lot of rice, and I don't use rice in this beer. Rice is kind of just a filler. It's an adjunct. It's perfectly legal, and
it's like a cheaper.
It's a cheap ingredient because if you think about it, when you go to a grocery store and buy a bag of rice, like how much are you spending on that rice? So,
right.
They're using that just to build up the beer so they can get more volume, more liquid through it. I do use rice, but I use rice to in my Hefeweizen just to spread it out. It's the Hefeweizen gets real gummy and it'll get all stuck. You'll get a stuck mash, so the water won't flow through it. I can't get the good nutrients out of it. So I just use the rice as basically blockers, so my running backs can get through.
I don't have any of those. I used to have blockers, and this is going to be a rant later. You have your beer rant. I lost to Craig Bentley today in a Madden tournament, and like an hour and a half ago, and I'm so
still
mad.
Not over it. You can tell. That's why we had to re-record this episode because you're so flustered. So.
Yeah, I was pissed. Still am. I don't even know why he's in my house.
Because he's our studio audience.
He's our studio audience. Hey! T-shirt cannon. Carrie caught that one again.
All right,
that's good.
All right, so back to the beer knowledge.
Beer knowledge, yeah. Two. Right. By the way, two of them.
Two of them.
There's two beers in the world.
All right. So the question, and this is a question that I use.
Oh wait, was that gonna be the question?
No, you're incorrect. You, sir, are incorrect. So this is actually a question that I use in my interview process. So if you're looking for a job at the brewery, you got one step up if you listen to this podcast.
Okay, close your ears.
So I always ask, how many types of beer are there?
Now I originally guessed, I thought there was 8. I think there was 12. Threw something out. Craig threw out.
Everybody can name all
70.
Kinds of porters.
That was how many points
IPAs
he beat me by,
and that sort of thing. So those are styles. Those are styles, not types of beer. There's actually legitimately, there's only 2 types of beer.
I got it.
You can't. I would accept 3 types of beer.
Oh, I said that too.
The type of beer depends on what type of yeast is used to make that beer. So, like a lager is what we're drinking right now is like an American light lager, just like your piss water beers. And
delicious.
Lagers are supposed to be drank cold because the yeast is fermented cold. It's a very, very cold loving yeast.
Okay.
Lagering, the term lager actually means to put it in, like in the olden days, in really dark caves and let it sit in the cold for a long time.
So fermented cold. How cold?
Cold fermented, yeah.
Yeah, how cold is that? What's the degrees on that usually?
So
you say
67 is ales, so 47.
47 degrees.
47 to 50 degrees.
Well, so what's a hot brew?
60, 68, 67, 68.
So it's like a 20 degree difference kind of a thing? Yeah. Okay, all right. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but when you say it's cold, I'm just trying to figure that out. So cold brewed.
Cold brewed, and you have to lager it, and you lager it at like 47 degrees.
Can we get into lagering? What does that mean? I don't know what that means at all.
So lagering in the olden days used to be in Germany. They'd throw it down in deep dark caves and let it sit like all summer. So it all summer until they drank in the fall because they're out working in the fields during the summer. And then in the fall they come in and pull it out. And also because they didn't have refrigeration, so they pull it out in the winter and it'd be fine. So for us, and nowadays we throw it in a keg and then we'll throw it in our fridge. So the main reason why I've switched over to a lot of lagers is because of this whole COVID thing. With ales, you want to drink it fresh. It's max 30 days you want to drink it in, versus a lager actually sits in the fridge and loves to be cold. So it will actually get better with age. So the Vienna lager that I brought in last week,
right? I crushed it. Yeah.
I actually brewed that all the way back in November, and then I threw it in the fridge. I was planning on pulling it out in like March. I pulled it out and I tried it, and I was like, it's all right, but it's not very good. I pulled it out again in June, and I said, oh man, and you tried it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Delicious,
and it's just getting better every day. So that's a big difference between lagers and ales. So those are the two types of beer.
Yeah.
There's a lager and an ale. Now, as you go down the list, there's all kinds of different styles of beer, which are just different beers of that type of beer. So, and a lot of times what people get confused about is it gets truncated in the name. So we always talk about an IPA. Mm-hmm. What does IPA mean?
I know the answer to this.
India Pale Ale. So
that.
It's an actual ale, right?
Nailed
Versus
it, yeah.
I just talked about a Vienna lager.
Uh-huh.
It's in the name, right?
Right.
But a lot of people, they'll go into the brewery and say, yeah, I'll take that Vienna, right? They don't finish it, the name of it, so then they don't even realize that it's a lager. Same with the IPA. They don't actually, speak out what it is. Like when you talk about a pale ale, it's in the name.
Right.
Ale. It's an ale. It's a warmer beer.
And then you've also mentioned this in the past. We've had a lot of conversations, me and Sean, hours. And one of them is the IPA, is that there could be a full-on, long.
Oh, we could have multiple episodes.
Just over and over of
so everybody
after IPA.
Everybody always talks about how, it's from India. That's why it's called. And that's not really true.
Yeah, those guys are idiots. Because I never said that the last episode.
It's actually from Britain.
Or the last time we recorded.
All about the trade route.
Yeah.
But that being said, there's 5 different stories of how that name became that name, and only maybe 2 of them
are real.
It's all history, so it's like this
right.
person told this person, but there's only 2 that are like pretty close to accurate.
Interesting stuff. So that was your beer knowledge. Was there more to the beer knowledge before? Cause I always get jazzed up for your beer rant.
Well, I was going to talk about cut out my rant earlier.
What was the rant?
About piss water and how this is better than piss water because
so that was your rant.
Yeah.
Well, go rant again. I'm telling you. Are you ready? Unless you want to switch gears. Are you in 3rd gear and I'm going back to 1st gear on this thing a little bit?
Of course, always.
Okay, good. That's what I try to keep you on on your toes.
So the one silly question that a lot of people say when they come in the brewery,
I'm going to sit back. You just go.
They're like, hey, I'd love to have an ale. And then they look at my board and like I was just saying, it's in the name, but a lot of people don't realize that 90% of what I have on tap is ales. They're all ales. You just have to sound out the whole name.
And it's
like a brown ale.
Brown ale.
India Pale Ale.
It's all written down on those wood sticks you got up there, which are sweet. Yep. Do you bake those yourself?
No.
Who made them?
Stan the Woodman.
Who's Stan the Woodman?
He's an older gentleman that does wood products. He can do anything.
Really?
He did all my cribbage boards and stuff.
Oh, wow.
If you ever need somebody to do any type of woodwork, he's really good. I highly suggest him.
Nice.
Local guy.
How'd you hear about him?
He came in and was selling cribbage boards. He said, hey, I hear that you do cribbage tournaments, and I make these cribbage boards. Would you like them? And I'm like, hell yeah. The first one he made, of course, was a Coal Street Brewery one.
Yeah.
But then he can do any sports team one.
Oh,
so
really?
he can engrave it or he can print it. He can do all kinds of different things.
I need to get hooked up with this guy because we were talking about charcuterie boards at some point.
Yeah.
And I got all the wood for him. I just need something to either be stamped on or painted on or something to that extent.
Sure, absolutely.
He's the one.
Do it. Yeah.
All right. See, it's who you know. It's not what you know.
Well,
little tip for you, Craig and Carrie. It's not what you know. It's who you know. But here's the better thing. It's what you know about who you know. All right? And that's the tip. So that's the tip.
When you own a brewery, you tend to meet everybody from every range of the world.
I'm sure.
Everybody loves beer.
I'm sure. And the funny thing is you'll have stories down the road. You'll have all of these stories of other people's stories that you can always say are your stories. So I'm now starting to believe, wait a second, is this the M. Night Shyamalan twist? the survivor stories that you're telling us about
are people that didn't survive.
Are they other people's stories that have come into the bar and started drinking? And let me tell you this: I was bear hunting.
Why don't you drink some more beer and we'll talk about that?
I'm using that's my story now.
But I do have a funny story because we call this Brew Ha Ha.
Brew Ha Ha. Let's have some fun.
I wanted to talk. I kind of brought up that obviously we talked about it before where I emancipated from my parents and I out of the house pretty young, 16. I actually got officially emancipated at 17, and I was living with a couple friends. We lived in a house. It started with 3 of us, and it ended up with like 7 of us lived in the house that actually paid for the house. Then on top of that, we had, who knows, like 20 different people coming and going all the time. But with that, I have all kinds of fun stories from that. But I want to share this really fun one. So it's way back in the day. And, of course,
you're young.
We had a party going on. But, parties go on at that house all the time because, we're still in high school and we have our own house. So everybody's always looking for a place to hang out.
Sure.
Right? So our house was kind of like a three-level house. And the party's going on in the back of the house. Me and one of the roommates were hanging out in the kitchen. The problem with having a house like that is there's never any food in the house. No matter how well you hide it, drunk people find your shit all the time. So we never had food. But that being said, where we lived was right in between Texaco, which is Chevron now, but Texaco, the Irwin's Corner, and the Circle K, which is now a 7-Eleven. They've all changed. But we lived almost exactly between the two. So we used to always just drunken stumble down there or drunken drive down there and grab food, right? So we're sitting in the kitchen. I'm like, I'm kind of hungry. My roommates, I'm hungry too. I'm like, oh, you know what? I got some nachos in the car. He's like, oh, sweet, bring those in. Go out to the car, grab them, throw them in the microwave, nuke them up. It's like a brand new batch of nachos too, right? Throw it on top of the counter. The roommate goes, oh, they're kind of green right there. I'm like, oh, yeah, there is a little bit of fuzz. Kind of move one of the chips, and then you get that light yellow kind of like, oh. Then, of course, these 2 really intoxicated people come wandering. Oh, nacho! They're throwing hands in there before. Of course, don't ask. Like, it's our freaking house.
Right.
And these people are just jumping in. So we just step back and be like, yeah. Oh, look at that. There's some guacamole.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Yep. Oh. That's what you get for just diving in.
Just diving right in.
Yeah, I'm like, yep, take that. Yeah.
But here's the thing. I got to tell this story.
Okay.
I enjoy a dive in every once in a while. And let me just tell you, the other day, minding my own business, splitting wood. Just splitting wood, shirt off, sun beaming in, sweat glistening off, rolling off my body.
Yeah, rolling off for sure.
Just rolling. And I was in the mid of this just picture the most manliest Old Spice commercial you can picture.
I was honestly surprised that you were splitting wood.
Were you?
Uh-huh.
A little bit?
Yeah. Is that your workout regime?
That's how I keep thin. And I saw the scariest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Scarier than when I make someone mad, when I talk too much. Scarier than the most amazing put together Madden Bucks offense and defense put together. Just Vita Vea being pulled out into the middle area. So there's 8 freaking backs and 2 of them are rushing me and I get sacked by one of the 2 or I throw an interception. That's still fresh on my mind. Scarier, I would say, than a bear charging you at 40 to 50 miles per hour, and then you do a Looney Tunes move to the right, and the thing goes sliding by as you shoot it.
Yep.
Like almost out of a Western.
Hip fire.
I saw a spider that I don't think originates from Earth. It was the scariest thing I've ever seen in my life. It was, I think people were saying as I took a picture of it just for my own scientific, now I was scared-ish. I wasn't scared. That's the thing. People were like, in fact, I went to Cedars a few nights ago, and there was a guy there who came up and he's like, "You're the spider guy on Facebook." And I'm like,
my buddy Colton.
That was your buddy Colton. This guy looked like a character, by the way. This dude looked like he walked off the set of Forrest Gump or something. Like he had like American flag just tied bandana around his head. He had a handlebar mustache. The dude had long hair, wild eyes. The guy looked like he was probably a young Willie Nelson.
Yep.
He looked like a young Willie Nelson.
He would love it that you called him that.
Well, then he
likes Waylon a little bit better, but
Waylon Jennings. I could see that. If Waylon and Willie had a baby, it was called Colton. And he goes, "You're the spider guy." And I said, "Hey," like that. I'm cool. I also had some piss drink in me, as what Cole would, or what is not Cole, as what Sean would say. Not the Cole Street Brew, even though I did have a brew when I stopped by.
You had one.
Okay. So, anyways,
needed a couple more, but
this spider was scary. I had to take a picture of it for scientific needs. It wasn't scary. Backtrack that. I respect it, though. Sometimes you're not scared, and I clearly wasn't. I respected it, though, and it sometimes looks like fear. So,
yeah, with that girl,
super respected that thing. And the funny thing is, so I take a picture of it. I post on Facebook. What I'm super curious, though. One thing is like, what is this spider? I've been around wood piles my entire life. I split wood almost every summer. I've seen those weird, nasty looking ones. The ones with the big butts and the weird, like long ones. I've never seen something that looked kind of like a real... Like
a hermit crab.
Yeah.
Somebody commented that. It did look like a hermit crab.
It did. And I've seen other hermit crab type spiders before in the, like things that kind of look like that. But that for sure was just purple and nasty looking. Big butt on it. Big booty. Baby had back. So I took a picture of it, posted on Facebook, and then people were like, "Oh, it's trapped with a spider." Da, da, da. And then I had just recently recorded an episode with Sean. And I said, "Sean, come out here." I tagged you in it, jokingly. "Sean, come out here. You picked this up with your own bare hands. Right? This is what you do."
It didn't want to go on my hand.
Well, that's the thing. Jumping right in. So I'm over here just like still replying to stuff. Next thing I know, and it's a good thing I wasn't like, I don't know, I can do weird stuff in here. I can get completely naked and just really sit in those seats that those guys are sitting in. And just sit there and just ponder life. And so, but no, I'm like, all of a sudden, I could be usually picking my nose or picking my butt. Who knows? I'm in my own room. No one's around. Next thing I know, Sean's there. He took the liberty of just showing up. And he's like,
"I'm only 2 blocks away.
3
blocks away."
And at first, I only saw a silhouette. It was sun coming around, the silhouette of the manliest man besides myself that I've ever seen in my entire life. Hair and beard just mostly beard was just wisping. It wasn't Colton. Mostly beard, just wisping in the wind. And he comes up. He goes, "I'm here for the spider." And I go, "It's right there." He actually put a quarter next to it to show it. Side note, he left the quarter. I made 25 cents on this deal, which is great. I have paid it forward. Anyway, he tries to pick this thing up with his bare hands. Legit. I go live with it. He gets it out. It goes onto a piece of bark. He puts it on this laptop, which broke it. So it's karma back for him for ruining the first part. And so then we let it go in a tree. I've never seen it since. I actually went back several times during that day to see if I could find it.
Well, you walked away, like took 2 steps and turned around, and then you couldn't find it.
I couldn't find it again, yeah.
I bet it's in the same spot. You probably just don't see it.
It blends right in. So anyway, he saved me. You saved me. Sure. And you jumped right in. I didn't have, and that's what I'm saying. So jumping right in, all that to say, yeah, jump right in. Do you need to jump right into that at all?
No.
Okay. Sure?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. That's all I had to say about jumping back. Jumping right in. I just needed to say that to get off my chest. So I appreciate you saving me.
No worries.
Did you feel like a little bit like, oh, this is a scary spider? I know I talked a big game.
No.
Were you a little bit nervous?
Not at all.
You didn't seem it. You didn't seem it.
Well, I would have put him on my hand, but he didn't want to go on
my hand.
Yeah. I didn't want to squish him.
Right, I didn't want
to force him on my hand. If I did that, I would have hurt him.
And so everyone was telling me, really squish it, squish it, squish it. And I'm like, my mom's texting me, squish it, kill it. And I'm like, I feel like we're like Gladiator.
No, haven't you ever watched that movie, Starship Troopers? So someday the bugs are going to come and I'm going to be on the good bug side. Those bugs are going to be sucking your brains out. Hey, remember all those spiders you killed? No, I'm going to be on the good side.
Yeah, it's a good call. I'm on your team now.
I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I'm taking the safe side.
Take the safe side. But yeah, I had to say that. And while I was at Cedars, this other lady came up to me, and she's like, "You're that Enum Club board discussion board guy. You're that guy." And at first, I was like
bored, like you're bored.
How is this going to go? And she was just like, I was on there for a week before I realized it was a sarcastic board, which disheartened me. Because first I want it to be a real board, a real community board, but also I want it to be a fake board. And we were not sarcastic enough. It took her a week to figure that out. And I was pretty
realize it was sarcastic.
I was pretty pissed about that. But anyway, so that's
it could still get deleted too. I hear the
admin's always itching. He's got an itchy trigger finger. Oh, I want to say this. Do you have what else do you got? Because I got one more thing for you.
That's all I got.
Okay, that's all you got. Okay, so I'm taking over a little bit. Driving the bus now. Okay. When it comes to people that are showing up, you have a full buddy cast ticker.
Yep. How many people show up?
And
everybody that checks in, I'm marking them down.
Okay. All right. And so the multiple check-ins that I do.
Yep.
Do I count as just one?
Yep.
Dang it! I had to stop checking in because I was checking there quite a bit.
What?
Because I felt like my parents were going to have like an intervention for me. Like you have a family, you have kids. Like, I'm just picking up. Here's the thing:
just hanging out with me.
How much is a growler? Honestly, like how much does it typically run for a growler?
$15.
Yeah. I was at the grocery store doing grocery shopping. Jamie's like, hey, because typically, you're in the habit of what you're buying. Hey, do you want to go grab a case of this, grab a case of that? I'm like, I could spend that amount of money. Yeah, I could do that and spend that amount of money. But, or I could go get a growler.
Support local.
Yeah, support local, same price, and it's pretty much the same amount of beer. Yeah. So how many, like, what did you say, what 64 ounces, right?
Yeah, 64 ounces. Depends on the size of glass you're using.
Right.
Like 16-ounce glass, it'll be 4 glasses. But most people only have like 12-ounce glasses in their cupboard. So. And
how much is in a can? Like how much is in a bottle?
Ounce.
12 ounces.
Yeah. So
it's about would you say a 6-pack? No, about 4.5, 5-pack.
5-pack.
Yeah. That's comparable price.
Yeah.
Especially if you got a little more alcohol content going into it than some of the other beers you get.
More flavor.
And flavor.
Flavor is the most important thing.
And flavor.
Quality.
Craig is just itching to get on this mic. In a bit. I would like a pro tip for my growler, though. Once I crack the top, how long do I have to drink it before it starts getting that flat, going a little more flat?
So unopened, put it in your fridge, keep it refrigerated just like you would a gallon of milk. It's very similar to a gallon of milk. As soon as you open it, the more you take out of it, the quicker it'll go south. But you have about a week and a half to get it done.
Week and a half.
Yeah.
And then it starts to...
Then it'll be flat.
Then it'll be flat.
That's the main thing is it loses... when the oxygen goes in there and oxygen's on it, the CO2 escapes. So. And
once that oxygen... Like you crack it, oxygen's already in there.
Yeah.
Like you can't just like quick pour and then shut it real quick.
No.
It's just...
Boom. No, they do make things... I used to have this cap that you... they have these kits for when you're mountain biking. If you get a flat tire, you have like a little air kit. Mm-hmm. I had a local guy that made these little caps, and then you could put that little thing on there, and it'd shoot CO2 in there. So that when you put CO2 is heavier than oxygen, so it sits on the beer, and the oxygen sits on top of the CO2, so it never touches your beer.
Oh,
so
really?
It would keep all the fizz, and it would keep the quality of the beer in there. Unfortunately, that company... I don't know, disappeared, went out of business, I guess.
Okay.
And nobody's really picked it up since.
Wow. That's
but
interesting.
Same idea. If you had that little oxygen bottle, you could just spray it in there.
That's interesting.
That's a little more extra work. But
right.
Just drink it.
Oh, that's what I'm doing.
It's only 5 beers. You can do that in a sitting.
Exactly. Because you start getting into it and you're like, well. Did we record after the 4th of July? Have we recorded after it? I don't think we did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so what did you think of that magnificent picture that I took? Don't give me those eyes like you can't remember. 2 Cole Street Brewery growlers.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, so I'm totally going to use that as an ad later on.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's a beautiful picture.
It is a gorgeous picture.
I think it works for any holiday weekend too.
Yeah, all I needed was Mount Rainier back there, and maybe some girls in bikinis, and it would have been super American.
No, that's getting too close to a stupid Budweiser commercial.
Yeah,
you don't need that.
You know what? You need a cardboard cutout, I think.
Beer sells itself. I don't need sex to sell it.
Okay. I think you should have a cardboard cutout.
Of myself?
Yeah. Yeah.
How about of a beer? I can do it.
And then they can take a picture. Or you got the beard. You can use that. They cut the face out. They have the beard. You come behind. Hey, you're Sean McDonald. And you get a picture. These are some good ideas. The great ideas.
Oh, yeah. That's gold.
You have another one of Colton.
Yeah.
Same deal.
Me and Colton together. That, because you like to take pictures with your friends, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'll put that on the list of things to
think about.
From now.
How was your 4th? What'd you do for your 4th?
I hung out at the brewery. So it was kind of a weird day. So I set, I was going to close at 6. But then, and it was pretty slow most of the day. I sold quite a few growlers, but nobody was really hanging out. Then about 6 o'clock, I'm starting to get ready to roll. And then a whole bunch of people started showing up. They're all like out of towners. A lot of them were smelling like campfire. I think they're up on the mountains.
Yeah.
They decided to come down. And of course, everybody else was closed in town except me. So I was entertaining some out of towners, talking them up our town, and like, oh, it's really great when it's open. But yeah, I didn't end up leaving the brewery until 9:30, 10 o'clock. Yeah, I had quite a few people.
And then were you living in an area where fireworks are going off pretty heavily?
Yeah. I went back home. I got a big open pasture behind my house, and all the neighbors. I don't get into the whole lighting off fireworks, but
not anymore.
All the neighbors do.
Back in the day, were you one setting them off, or were you just always the one just kind of enjoying?
All my neighbors were really into that.
Right.
So where I grew up, I was right on the edge of the Muckleshoot Reservation. Uh-huh. So I got cheap fireworks, and maybe we did a couple bottle rocket wars and stuff like that, but I never really got into it.
But it was mostly just kind of chilling, watching everyone else shoot it off.
Yeah.
From like distance, like, oh, look at that one over there, and that one over there, and that one over there, kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
right on.
Not my thing.
Not your thing. You were already grown up. You already were calculating recipes in your head. I guarantee it.
No. Oh yeah, that's another pro tip.
Yeah.
Pro tip for teenagers. So when you're young, you always sit outside the Circle K and kind of bootleg for beer.
Yeah.
Really simple is you just go down to the brew shop and buy the ingredients and make your own beer. You can make your own beer, your own wine. You can buy ingredients.
Wait, you go to the brew. What's the brew shop?
Yeah, like a home brew shop.
Yeah,
there's several of them. Yeah,
you could be any age and walk in.
You can walk in 10 years old and buy the ingredients. They'll sell it to you, no problem.
Really?
No ID. But then you have to go home and figure out how to brew it.
Just mix them together.
So in high school, you can ask some people have tried my old high school brews, which were not good.
Not good.
But they did you don't care.
And they did the trick.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
wow.
Wine and beer is a super simple concept, Wine's the easiest. I've talked about that before. Wine, you just need sugar and throw some yeast in it. Beer, you do have to brew it, where you actually have to boil it and break down those proteins to create the sugar. A little more to it. But yeah, so pro tip to you teenagers out there
that are listening to Brew Ha Ha.
And it's also super cheap too. It's way cheaper than buying it at the store.
Yeah.
And if your parents catch you with it, what are they going to say? Like, well, it's a science project.
And nowadays,
right?
You could do a Zoom with the rest of your class and no one would know. Now, when we were in high school, maybe we'll get into this with Craig just a little bit and Carrie just a little bit, but people would sneak drinks in. You could have like your Subway cup, or like you just got back from McDonald's.
Sure.
People would, or the water bottles, like the little, and they'd put stuff in it. Now you don't have to do that. You're at school from home.
Yeah.
You can do whatever the frick you want.
Yep.
You just sit in front of a Zoom thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like the smoking when you're a teenager. You smoke out of camera and then come back in.
Right.
How are they going to know?
You're just blowing, just smoke everywhere. Well, it was fun. It was a fun ride, this episode. Is there anything, any shout outs that you have other than the studio audience?
Oh, yeah. Studio audience. Thanks for being
One more
here.
time. They're very quiet during this.
Good supporting crew.
Any shout-outs?
Shout out to the girlfriend, Erica
Of course,
Marsh.
Erica Marsh.
Yeah, she's doing a great job doing my advertisements and helping me with creating some artwork and stuff. She did some great beer candles. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Guys.
Yeah, they look amazing. They look like a beer that has froth on top. It's it's beautiful.
Carrie got one.
Yeah,
Craig bought it for her from his own.
And Carrie put it on the
credits.
shelf. She's not even planning on burning it.
No,
it's a decoration.
I want the same thing,
yeah.
but if it gets too hot, it might start melting. So you got to keep it in a semi-cool area.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing.
I'm gonna get one too because I've got credits now. So anyway.
Yeah, and then I wanted to shout out Jeff and Debbie from Jackson's and the Rainier. They're the owners of Jackson's and Rainier. They've been great. We connected and we got some stuff going. Starting, it's going to be a couple weeks, probably by the next time you hear our next podcast. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we'll have a menu, pretty full menu from the Rainier right next door to us. You can get any of their burgers, any of their sandwiches, any of their wraps, and a few of their appetizers. So you can just order it through me and we can bring it over. They've been great with that. And then, like I said, on the weekends, on Saturday and Sunday from noon to 5 p.m., you can order the burgers from Jackson's. Try and help Jackson's out too. They're working together. They're great people.
Right on.
Yeah. Community.
And
local.
And I got some shout outs too, unless you got another one or two. Shout out to Chris Struley for running the till right now.
Yeah,
so
appreciate that, Chris.
And I want to shout out Tyson Hiffman from the Rainier. Golfed with him.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Yeah, and I parred hole 1, and I looked like I was gonna have the best round of my life because I do really horrible with my hole 1. Parred it, and then I just fell apart after that. So it was a lot of like, oh dude, I'm gonna do great, and then just full on crashed. And then another shout out. Erica was your first shout out.
Yeah. I wanted to throw out there that Kevin Myers stopped by. He was golfing, I guess, with you guys, and he said the same thing about Tyson. He's like blown away by how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tyson's got the smoothest swing.
Yeah.
I've never seen a guy just go shunk and then the ball just goes boom, just travels.
Yeah.
It's incredible. I mean, he played back in the day too. Also, shout out. I don't know if we've shouted this out yet. But Casey Hansen, Abby Hansen, coming on down to Cole Street and taking a picture in front of the Cole Street sign, as well as Casey popped that hat off and had a wonderful mullet.
Yep.
Just rocked the mullet.
High respect. I tried to grow the mullet and I just got annoyed.
Couldn't do it.
Couldn't do it.
I want to do like the Kenny G long ponytail. That my wife is not into that at all. I was really hoping for that though. So. Oh, wait. Let's tell them the deal. Go down to Cole Street, take a picture in front of the sign, get $1 off VIP treatment, 50% off crowlers and growlers. And then if you don't have social media, the code word this week is...
Pub Light.
Pub Light. Go have a Pub Light. Say Pub Light. Full Body Cast Pub Light. Get your chalkboard little thing on the wall and mention Brew Haha and get the VIP treatment. Thanks very much, everybody. Actually, one more. I'm going to shout out one more. Veronica, a listener from the podcast, went down there and she took a picture. She was in front of it, but she doesn't have Facebook or this or that. Yeah. So did you meet Veronica?
I did. And her friend.
Yeah. And her friend, or I think it was her cousin or something like that. Okay. And they're from Federal Way. They were going to go hike Mount Peak. They're already in the area. And they're like, hey.
Stopped in and had 2 each. Yeah.
Yeah. They said, where's that? Because she's a listener. I used to work with her at Safeway. And she goes, where's that place you're always talking about? I'm like 1627 Cole Street. Perfect. Send them right in.
Beauty. Yeah.
Good. You took care of them.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
VIP.
All right. VIP for the big V. Everyone, thanks for listening.
Cheers.